Hey guys, it's Joe, and I'm here today to talk to you about security. And security has never been a greater concern more than it is today when we see things that are happening like a producer of 23% of the world's meat product just being hacked and not being able to produce anything else. That's our supply chain, that's our food being tampered with at an amazing level. And we're seeing other things happen that are closer to home as we see things like Ring systems or doorbell systems being avidly just openly shared with the police department. If you're not reading those notes when you click that release, that's the kind of permissions you're giving out. And there's great upsides to this in the fact that we can be more vigilant around things, but there's some other opportunities for hackers, which we've seen with some of the most secure companies out there, including the United States government, to be hacked and to take over the cameras in your own house. Episode 1 is going to be about protecting the perimeter of your house. It's going to be about making it invisible from the outside. We're going to look at things like your neighbors. Are your neighbors helping you? Are they hindering you? We'll find out. We're also going to take a look at what are the other surroundings, forests, bushes around your house, things you leave outside that could be used against you. All that is going to stack up to really figure out how you keep your family safe. So stay tuned. This is going to be immensely helpful to you and your family.
Hey guys, so we're going to start our home assessment for basically security. This is my friend Justin and Allison. They recently moved into a new home. They're in a new neighborhood, and there's been a rash of burglaries and a rash of break-ins to vehicles and stuff like that. So Justin asked me to come over and do an assessment on the house. What I want to do is walk you guys through it, let you have the benefit of seeing what I'm looking at and why, seeing how some things that may seem very innocuous at your home, in your daily life, in your neighborhood, don't strike you as weird or anything that you should be worried about, but maybe are things that you should kind of start tapping into. You're seeing it from the ground up. This is basically the first time I've seen the house. We're going to do it from the curb all the way into the house, from how do we secure it from the outside and make it a hard target, to once we're inside and things have changed and I'm not so much trying to stop someone from stealing my computer or my VCR or something, to I'm defending my family, it's a transition in thinking and it's a transition in purpose. So luckily those things dovetail into each other. But we're going to use everything that leads up to that to show you guys how to stop that from ever being the eventuality, and then we'll talk about that eventuality should it come to pass. So we're going to walk around. I'll just start from the outside. I notice you guys have a camera outside the front door there. You don't have a lot of standoff from the street at all. Someone who approaches from the street there to your home very quickly. Luckily, you are in a cul-de-sac. I think a lot of times people think that's inherent security. The downside of being at the end of a cul-de-sac like this is that it really limits the amount of traffic. So the amount of bystanders that are going to go by, the amount of activity that's going to scare away someone who's looking for privacy. I mean, it's quiet out here. There's nothing going on. There's no one driving. It's the middle of the day on a Friday. And I bet you if I started walking around and knocking on doors, it's 50-50 whether anybody's home. So things that we think of are inherent security. We think of safety for our kids. It's a cul-de-sac, so there's less traffic. So right on. We don't have to be worried about the kids being in the street and playing. But from a security standpoint, it can limit the traffic that a lot of times that traffic and the hustle and bustle will kind of keep people away, keep them thinking about what they're doing. So some upsides is that it is a cul-de-sac. Some downsides is that it's a cul-de-sac. Let's keep on moving around the perimeter. I'm just going to make some notes as we go. And then once we get inside, I'll kind of run it all down for you so that we're not kind of piecemealing it out. Okay. Some things that we want to talk about and think about from an outside standpoint on the perimeter is distance to other homes, adjacent lighting, that sort of thing. Like, how do simple lights that my neighbors have on, say, their garage or something like that, how do they enhance my security? But how does the greenery around their home? Like if someone was really out to get us or, really out to do some dangerous things, are they going to park in front of my house? Or are they going to park over there and walk through a short stand of woods on another cul-de-sac to approach my house from the dark side or from, off the street to where they're not going to be seen by, say, a Ring camera or something? That the things that have become really prolific and people are using on a regular basis, how do they circumvent those things? I need to think about that, especially if I have a concern. So we have the Ring camera at the front door. I see that you have another motion sensor camera for the garage. Did you do that after your car got broken into?
Yeah, that was to keep more purses and checkbooks and stuff from getting stolen.
Okay. And is that Does that see all the way out to the cul-de-sac, or is it just here at your driveway?
It seems to about right here and to the edge of the concrete back there. So
Do the lights come on with the motion sensor, or is it just a light on the
just a
camera?
light on the camera.
Okay.
It lights it up pretty good, but not as bright as the other lights are.
Okay, let's keep on moving.
Hey guys, it's Joe. Just a quick word from our sponsor, Valley Food Storage. Valley Food Storage is the food that I store in my home. It's what my kids eat and snack on in the car sometimes. And overall, it is a great, healthy way to store long-term food storage for up to 25 years. I recommend it. It gives me and my family a peace of mind. And I want you to have it too. And they're so kind, they're going to give you 25% off, which is an unheard of discount. All you need to do is go to valleyfoodstorage.com/practical prepper, and you can unlock your 25% discount. So thank you to Valley Food Storage, and go ahead and get your discount today.
Now, I know you have an alarm in the house. How diligent are you guys about turning it on when you're home? That sort of thing.
So it's set up that if all three of the phones that are on our network leave, that it automatically sets itself.
Okay.
And then it automatically gets set at 9 o'clock every night.
Okay, so it automatically turns on. And it's the kind of thing where all your exterior monitors, so all your window breaks, all of your door breaks, all that sort of stuff are on, but you can still move around inside the house, or does the bottom of the house get turned on and upstairs where you guys are at?
Yeah, no, you can still move around the house. It's
Okay.
just for if somebody, and it's really only doors, there are no windows as far as sensors.
None of the windows are censored.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Just for a teaching point, something I want you to take a look at is how there's greenery around the house. So they have a little bit of standoff, a little bit of privacy from their neighbors. They've got a small play area for their children, that sort of thing. But it's not like it's heavily wooded or anything like that. It wouldn't take much to figure out that you can approach from adjacent places, and you may be able to easily circumvent some of the lighting and some of the small security stuff they've done. Just some things to think about. We'll talk about that more in just a little bit. I want to continue moving around the house, noting a couple things. So you said there are no window sensors,
Yeah.
but I want you, and this is for you guys as well. So you got your upside down wheelbarrow right here. Where does that window go into?
That goes into kind of a closed off, it's her craft room.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so it's got a door on it, and it's kind of segregated from the rest of the house, sort of.
sliding door on it. And,
Okay.
yeah.
Simple things like this, having things in your yard, and oftentimes it's things as simple as a ladder. People do upkeep on their house, and they keep tools and things of that nature. He's got a wheelbarrow because it's a pain in the butt in the garage, takes up space, that sort of thing. But if you're an average height dude who moves that wheelbarrow over underneath that window, you're now talking about a window that more than likely it's an acrylic frame window with aluminum locks on it. If it's your standard, run-of-the-mill window that are put in all manufactured homes, it's the kind of thing where anybody with any tool of leverage or any reasonable amount of strength can literally grab it and rip it open, because you're talking about basically using metal to pull plastic away. Something to think, that would be an immediate thing that I would do, like today before I leave here. We should move that wheelbarrow, put it in the garage to where it's secured. It's the kind of thing where you're not creating access into a place that's kind of hidden from all your lights, it's hidden from all your cameras, and it lets someone into your house in a place that's secluded from the other living areas.
Yeah.
It wouldn't take much to kind of figure out that that's what that was.
Yeah.
I honestly, from where it was on the outside of just looking at the outside of the house, I was guessing that was the laundry room. Okay, let's keep moving, guys. Have you ever considered putting up a pole light back here? I mean, you can, under the guise of, I have lights for my kids to be able to play in the summer, in the evening, or in the fall as it starts getting darker earlier, that sort of thing. But having an actual high pole light out here.
Not pole lights. One of the things that my wife has been on me to do is to finish up our playground and put the solar lights on top of all these caps, so this whole area back here will get lit, and then back in the woods over there.
And you're talking about the solar light just capturing sunlight, and in the evening when it gets dark, they just turn on.
Exactly. That way I can see the kids when it starts getting dark.
Okay. It's a benefit that it adds lighting for you, and for its daily purpose, absolutely, without question. Something as simple as adding a light to your trampoline, to the frame of your trampoline back there, and honestly, one of your small cameras.
Yeah.
At the edge of your property where you have these wooded areas that are a little bit distance from your house, a small sign that says, areas under video surveillance. Like simple stuff like that, an alarm company sign.
Yeah.
Right there at the edge of your property, so that anybody that makes their way through there, the first thing that they're going to be hit with is, I just stepped into this yard, a light turned on, They say that they have security. They say that they have video. If nothing else, they know that the person that lives in the house has the mind frame of, I'm thinking about this stuff.
Yeah.
And automatically you're that much less of a good target. If I'm just here for your stuff, I'll go somewhere else where they aren't thinking about it. You don't got to put up a pole in it. You could literally attach a sign to one of those trees and call it a day. Do you have good relationships with your neighbors in these other areas, or is it kind
Not
of...
so much know the people behind us, but on either side and across the street.
Okay. And I'm assuming that those people over there, they're living on a cul-de-sac as well?
No, they're on a pretty main drag, actually.
Oh, okay.
They're about one street removed from being out of the neighborhood and out on the main roads.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Do you think that that makes that approach more or less likely?
They're both pretty fenced off all the way around their house. So, like,
Okay.
from those two houses, probably less so. But, yeah, definitely over here, they're sitting on another cul-de-sac.
Okay.
And not a whole lot of...
The reason I'm asking, fast avenue of approach and egress.
Yeah, you be
It's-
right out onto the main road. And
If I wanted to get away from here fast, you know, what's the average response? Do you guys live in the township? You're out away from the city, so your primary response is either going to be the sheriffs or the township police. Township police don't have a high volume of personnel on the department, and the sheriffs, I want to say for Stark County, I want to say at any given time they have 16 officers on duty, and that includes desk sergeants and things of that nature. So guys actually in cars doing the job. You're talking a longer response time because of where you live. It's quieter,
Yeah.
and you're less likely to get the traffic. But as you saw when your cars and stuff got broken into, you're just as likely because
10 of them before they got here.
if they're smart enough to realize where you live and the benefit it offers them, and then if they're smart enough to do that, they're going to be more brazen if they feel like they have a good plan.
Yeah.
You can watch any action movie and they'll talk about the speed of ingress and egress. You don't got to be a genius to figure that out. And if you've got a major avenue right there, in and out, quick, long before they get here.
And it's super wooded in all these lots too.
So once again, a great place for a sign that says, hey, this house, is under video surveillance. We have this alarm system, blah, blah, blah. Beware of dogs. Like, I don't care if you've got ankle biters or if you've got Cujo in there, a sign that says, I got cameras, I got lights, I got an alarm, and hey, by the way, I got dogs. At the perimeter, it just, once again, you want to put that in someone's head. You want to make them go through a series of decision-making process before they ever make it to the door. Before they ever get close enough to think about, hey, I'm going to go in here, you want to force them into that mind state, okay? I noticed that you got some lights up here, some motion sensor lights. Is there a camera on that one as well?
There's not.
But there is a motion sensor.
Yeah.
How far can you be away from the house before that turns on?
We're probably standing right about the edge of it.
Okay, so we're about the limit of entry before the light comes on.
Yeah.
I love that it's right by the door, that it's right there. I'd like to see it a little bit higher, so it has a little bit further reach, so that you're that much further away by the time it turns on. And then I would add another one with a camera, put another one like you have at the garage at that back door, because if you think about it, it's not just that door that's a concern. Those stairs, once again, to a window that probably has acrylic, structure,
Yep.
or aluminum structure with aluminum screws. Once again, it's not a difficult thing, and all it takes is, I was absent-minded one night and left the window open.
Yeah.
And
I do that all the time.
it's that easy, the kids come down here and play, they're in and out of a back door. How difficult would it really be for that door to be unlocked, for those windows to be unlocked? Heck, in the summertime, the windows may be left open.
Yeah.
So just things to think about. That's why you want the decision-making process to be made far away before anyone gets close and they can see how easy some things could be. Okay, so let's keep on traveling. And there's no lighting on this side of the house?
No.
I would put a light right up there that covers this whole area. I saw earlier that you got the Ring camera at the door.
Yep.
And how far away does that thing click on? Like, when does it start seeing people?
You can basically be down here in the cul-de-sac.
Oh, okay.
And, it's gonna pick you up. Every morning I leave, it picks my car up when I hit the curb.
Right on. Good. That's actually really good. Aside from the house light that you see there, the sconce, is there any other lighting out front?
No, just on that camera.
Okay. So you have first floor windows on your porch. You have another first floor window into another room here.
Yeah, that goes into the garage.
Okay. And you already stated that none of your windows have contacts, right? You need a light. You need something out here that puts people on edge that, oh, I just walked up and a spotlight came on. Yeah. It's great that you have the camera. Okay. Now you have, give me a light up there. You have two separate deterrents at a distance because they may not see that camera until they're right on top of it. They're already at a decision point.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's make them think about it. And hell, you could even hook it into the sconce to where that sconce comes on, the camera is then super visible, and it says, okay, other house, someone else doesn't have cameras, someone else doesn't have lighting, I need to go somewhere where it's easier. Okay. So guys, that's the beginning of our kind of far perimeter. Like, we're talking about the distance from the house that we want to start making people make decisions. The distance from the house, we want to let them know that this is a hard target. It's not an easy thing. We've thought about this. If they're coming to this house, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be something that they've got to deal with. That's step number one. Assess your environment from a distance. Take a look at it. We'll talk about some other things later, like if you have an excessively long driveway or something of that nature, what are some things you can do to make someone think about it at that kind of distance? Or if you have a little bit more standoff, or if you're on major streets. We'll talk about that in the wrap up. But for now, dealing with the situation we see right here and the kind of standoff we have from the street and the kind of perimeter we have in a organized neighborhood like this, those are some of the things we want to do right off the bat. We want some signage where our green spaces are that lead to other ways to approach the house. So other cul-de-sacs, other high-speed avenues of approach and egress. We want signage coming off of those. We want lighting on multiple sides of the house. I love that he's already got some cameras up, threw those up after they had a small incident where some things were stolen from their vehicles and things of that nature. There were some other burglaries and stuff in the neighborhood. But now we're starting to factor in, we understand our environment, we understand where we live, what our response times are from our local officials, things of that nature. Now we're going to move a little bit closer to the house. We're going to really inspect the actual doors, windows, that sort of thing. And then, so the near perimeter, including the garage. That'll be up next.